neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John, and it's time for a bit of an unexpected top 10 countdown. I'm taking a closer look at my favorite songs by the pop rock emphasis on post-2010 music on the pop portion of that band Maroon 5. If you've watched this channel over the past 5 to 7 years, you may have gotten the wrong idea about my actual feelings on this group. I think that they do have talent, but unfortunately, it's kind of been on this downward slope since 2010, 2012, somewhere in that range. They became content to feed the ego of Adam Levine and become this machine that pandered to soccer moms, adult contemporary radio, and a band that thrived off of the success of not their own merits, but more so off of the guests that could boost them up the charts. Before all of that, we had a genuinely really fun and entertaining pop rock band that have what I would consider to be 2 great albums, and also a slew of others that have just progressively gotten worse and fallen shorter as the years have blown by. But I think it's important to remember the road that led us here. It hasn't always just been something driving Adam Levine's ego. It was at one point in time a shining star example of what a mainstream band could be. Yes, that's me going out on a limb to defend Maroon 5. I know, I'm just as shocked as you, but I always think it's important to look at both sides of the story and focus on the positives and the negatives, so that's exactly what I'm doing by counting down my top 10 favorites. All of my honorable mentions are going to be in the description. Make sure you like this video if you enjoy it, share it out with another Maroon 5 fan, and let me know in the comment section down below what you think of my list and your own personal top 10. Coming out strong at number 10, we have the title track from their 2010 album, Hands All Over. This is one of the last remaining memories that proved that Adam Levine could pull off the sexually charged energy and deliver something that felt more fruitful than it did detrimental. There is a great vocal melody on this track. I cannot say enough good things about that. There's this slick bass that pops all throughout with some real effective funk groove. It's a very playful track. The backing vocals come in and add this extra layer that I genuinely didn't expect. The guitars just breeze right on through you, and this track is anything but forgettable. I know I already singled out the backing vocals as being very strong on this cut, but the ones that come through during the chorus, my god, that is the Midas touch right there. That paired up with those sweeping guitars, Adam's actual interesting chemistry on this track, it's a boppable tune that never gets old. My Lucky Strike. Lucky Strike from Overexposed comes in at number 9 on my countdown. And while this track might be a bit of sleazy, cheesy fun, I love it for that. It might just be me, but it reminds you of those old nights of just driving around in the car aimlessly with your friends, maybe looking for trouble, but also with a side helping of love. There's a lot to like about this song. Pulsating synths, choppy guitars that immediately start racing once we get past the intro. They never really slow down once we hit the runway, and you don't leave the air, you just kind of get caught up in the moment. And again, this track can fall into a lot of lyrical cliches, but it's a pop rock tune. It doesn't always have to change the world. This one absolutely doesn't, but you still have a great time, even if the world is ending. Good night, hope that things work out alright. Before you even say it, I know there's one line in particular that is really hard to swallow, and I understand the cringe. I acknowledge it. I am not denying the cringe, but I can't help myself. The song is still good. The lyric in question that I'm calling out goes, and I quote, "I'm sorry, I did not mean to hurt my little girl." This sounds like a dad talking to his 6-year-old daughter that accidentally got injured playing t-ball, yet somehow it's a love song? Okay, I swear, I'm done making fun of it. I got my shots in, it deserved it, but also, I really do like this song a lot. The way that it builds up is actually kind of impressive. I think it pays off in a major way that feels really satisfying to hear on a radio song. It has these nice guitars that just kind of sweep in as the chorus rolls along. The song has a lot of momentum, standing on the shoulder of something important, and as it rolls towards that, we do have a few bumps in the road to navigate, but they never fall off entirely, and that's why Goodnight Goodnight still lands in my top 10. Nothing left to say. Do you wanna hear? Do you wanna know? I don't think I should go. The things I've done are way too shameful. Classic early Maroon 5 right here. Steamy relationship gossip spilling out all over the sheets. It's not exactly rocket science, but I think the fans that are still listening to this song understand that it doesn't have to be in order to be excellent. I love Adam's energy, the way that he invests himself in this track. It feels believable. It feels like you're almost kind of a fly on the wall in this scenario. They also get in these sneaky guitar licks. The moody tempered drums are a really nice compliment to Adam's voice. All around, this is a solid-ass tune that has absolutely stood the test of time from their debut album.
Now I realize it was always you. Can't believe I could not see it all this time. All this time, it was always you.
Sorry to burst your bubble, but this is the newest song that you're going to see on the list, and it released in 2014. It Was Always You is off of their album V. I refuse to call it 5, we're always gonna call it V. It Was Always You is so fun, and it lets go of the vapid hologram of whatever the hell they had built leading up to that point and kept going with after that. I mean, there were some good songs on V. Maps and It Was Always You really stood out to me. This one in particular really bubbles up as it fires up the 80s synth machine, but it also works in some really choppy guitars that get bigger and expand as the song goes on. You actually feel a release of tension, and it feels like you're chasing after this lost love, and I miss that element of Maroon 5. Let's just admit it, we've got a great little jam assisted by steadfast confessions of love, those also steady hand synths, and guitars that play a much bigger role in the song as it unfolds. I like to see them swaying the momentum of the pendulum back and forth, and I love that they're also able to pump the brakes a few times in this song without cooling the jets entirely and losing the poise that the song had. Some of you might not like what I'm about to say, but it needs to be said. I want to get it off my chest. Kiwi is the single most underrated song in Maroon 5's back catalog. I'll be holding a press conference after the video outside to address all your concerns.
Okay, so no one showed up. Good.
Chipper synthesizers ease you into the vibe, and I love the way that the guitars just kind of gently sweep you off your feet and don't set you back down until you hear that final note. It's hard to deny the flirtatious connection that's quickly headed for the bedroom. Not to say that this is what makes the song special, it's the music itself. The band actually made this sound as smooth as a steamroller putting fresh pavement on the highway.
This love has taken its toll on me. She said goodbye too many times before.
I love this song, you love this song, your mom loves this song. I guess you could say this love has taken its toll on all of us. Hey, leave me alone. Come on, what else do you expect me to say about one of their most obviously beloved singles from their obviously beloved debut? It's a modern pop classic, and I was jamming out to it from the first day that I heard those piano pops. Also, I have to add, I really missed the piano being an instrument that was really powerful in their wheelhouse. It made a statement. It made a lot of their songs in the early albums, like Songs About Jane and It Won't Be Soon Before Long, feel a bit more timeless and soulful. There's an actual message here that's easy to connect with. It's relatable, but it doesn't feel like it's pandering, and that is why it still stands tall and is still being listened to this day. Whew, every single from their second album was absolutely killer. There's so much pizzazz just oozing out of these tracks. In fact, I would go to bat even more for It Won't Be Soon Before Long than I would for the singles from Songs About Jane, and not to put those down, but that's saying something. Makes Me Wonder features some of the catchiest guitars they ever put to tape. The song has aged ridiculously well. It's quick on its feet, it's fun, and it hits all of the sweet spots effortlessly. Watery synths buzz about like a bee ready to pollinate the fuck out of everything around it, but unlike the dying flowers, this song is still somehow finding a way to bloom, like 15 years later. That's crazy to me. I didn't see that happening, but I won't deny how killer it still sounds. Number 2, If I Never See Your Face Again. The spiraling introduction to their second album, It Won't Be Soon Before Long, has these notes that fire into the speakers sounding incredibly good. If I Never See Your Face Again pulls apart this tumultuous relationship that's probably way more toxic than it should be, but hey, at least the sex is great. That's the message that I took away from it. They actually really perfected the rhythm section on this track, which I think is one of its best qualities. They go off on the bass and the drums, and they don't always get enough credit for that. The musicians in Maroon 5, that is. I love the fact that on top of that, you've got these guitars during the chorus especially going off like fireworks as they team up with the other synthesizers, the rest of the mix. It's got this soaring bridge tacked onto the track, and some of the most effective backing vocals. I know I talked about those earlier, but this one takes it even a step further into golden territory.
There's already one out there. It's getting harder and harder to breathe.
Back-to-back album openers to close the list? Oh, John, what have you done? You're always being a contradiction. Harder to Breathe from Songs About Jane takes the crown all the way at the #1 spot. I think for a few years I kind of forgot about this song, at least I forgot how much I loved it, but I am never making that mistake again. Colorful guitars dominate the mix. They're a lot of fun to listen to. They sprinkle in these tasty little what-uh-ohs in the background that I usually don't really care for all that much, but I like them here. I could say the same thing for the breathy vocals and the post-chorus working incredibly well. It just gets better as the song goes on. Adam slam dunks the vocals and sells sex like candy. They come together and sound really powerful musically, and I think this is the best example that I could give anyone that says Maroon 5 have never done anything great, they've never sounded good, even in their heyday, even in the golden years of the band. I would completely disagree with that. This is the band firing on all cylinders. Every member is actually being creative. They're contributing something special to the band. And when they have this dynamic about them, they can do great things. And this is the biggest example of that. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my top 10 Maroon 5. Let me know your own list in the comment section down below. And don't forget to drop off a like while you're at it. If you want to see me rank all of Maroon 5's albums, then tap this card here. Tap here for another recent top 10 countdown. All of my socials, including my Patreon, if you want to help support, can be found linked in the description. And other than that, I will be back soon for more on ARTV.